hour, 5 minutes. I'm joking. Thank you for having me. Myself, I've been a Lion for 3 years, so I am learning lots of new stuff. So I really like coming and seeing how different clubs work. What I'd like to talk to you about tonight, I had an opportunity to attend the Emerging Lions Leadership Institute last year. So how you can attend that is anybody in your district, if there's someone in your club who is new to your club, and the only thing is they can't have been president. So they are fairly new, they haven't held any executive positions. You can put their name forward and someone from each district is able to go out. I think it's somewhere different every year. I was able to go to Denver, Colorado. It was a 4-day course and it was from people all over the world. I met people from Trinidad and Tobago. It was just fantastic. And as a new Lion, I was just like, there was just so much to learn and it was so overwhelming. Because as a new member, I was kind of shy and was just kind of going to every meeting and not really knowing too much about the history of Lionism, didn't really understand the protocol of the way they did things, didn't understand the hierarchy of our district. That was all very confusing. So that really taught me a lot about where Lions have come from, all the great things that they do. But one thing I really learned at this institute was we're all kind of facing the same problems in Lionism. It doesn't matter if you're in the Barbados or if you're in the States or if you're in Canada. It seems the common denominator was a lack of members. Or when we get our members, keeping our members. So there was a lot of conversation, a lot of roundtable discussions about, you know, what we can do going forward. And we're going to have to change the way that we do things. And I know change is very difficult for anybody, and especially an organization who's been doing the same thing for 100 years. But going forward into the next 100 years, we realize that we have a new generation of volunteers coming up. Some people don't even have meetings, and I found that very surprising because I think I'm old school. They did Skype meetings, they did internet meetings, it was very interesting, and they got the job done. Because mostly young people there was college students, university students said, we don't want to sit in the meeting for 3 hours. Their time is valuable. And I'm thinking, you know what, that's a really good point. Those are going to be the next leaders. So we kind of have to adapt to what those leaders are going to need to be able to give their service. And another thing they talked about is sometimes we have to change what we do. So service projects that worked maybe 15 years ago might not be service projects that are going to work in the next 15 years because the world is changing. People's needs are changing. So you have to incorporate new projects and new ideas to your club and what you want to do. And like I said, people are resistant to change, and a lot of people who have been Lions for 15, 20, 25, 30 years like the way things are being done. So you have to be really, really delicate if you're going to make a change. It can't be a dramatic change. You have to have input from all members so everybody feels like they have a say. And progression. We have to progress because, as we all know, in our own clubs, it's hard to get members. Everybody is too busy. Everybody's trying to get their career going, and they're running 10 different places with their kids. So to have an allowed time for volunteers, it has to work for them. So that's why they said, make short, do a lot of internet conversations, Skype emails, whatever will work, and every club will be different. Once we got those members, what are we going to do to keep them? Because there's lots of different service organizations and lots of different ways that they can volunteer their time. We want to make them proud to be Lions. We want to make sure that every member feels like they're valued, that they bring something to the table, and that every member has a special talent. And I know for myself, I didn't even think about being an executive member or being on a committee. I just wanted to go and do service projects, and that's how I joined Lions with my husband. He was a Lion first. But somebody came to me and said, hey Pam, do you think you'd like to the Hearing and Preservation Awareness Chair for our district. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I've only been a Lion for a year. I have really no idea what Lionism is about. But then I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? They had no one else to do it. So it was kind of another reason why I did it. And it was a really good thing for me because it really opened my eyes about lions. I've met so many great people. And if it wasn't for that one person who said to me, hey Pam, why don't you give that a try? I would probably still just be attending meetings. And from that moment on, it really changed my outlook about being a Lion. Because then I was interested on why we became Lions, who founded Lions, what are the projects that we've done in the years. So it made me want to be more involved. So if you see anybody in your club, a new member or somebody who maybe just sits back and is quiet, they may be a really good leader. And sometimes they just might need a little nudge to say, hey, I think you can do that. And then if they do volunteer, help them. You know, stay by their side, be a mentor, ask them if they need any help, or invite them to a committee meeting with you. So they're not so intimidated, because I'm kind of outgoing, but I was kind of intimidated by people I didn't know, committees I didn't understand, in a club I didn't know how it ran. So sometimes it just takes us to say, I think you would be really good for that job, and that person will step up and probably do the best job that you'd be very surprised. Once we have our members, I think it's really important to celebrate birthdays, celebrate anniversaries. If a member, say, hasn't been at your meeting for a few meetings, have somebody who's in charge that's going to say, hey, we missed you. Is everything okay? Sometimes that's all it takes. People go through a lot in our lives. We're busy. And it's nice to know that your fellow club members are missing you. And that might give them a reason to want to come back, to want to be involved, and to want to do more. If someone's ill, maybe send them some flowers, send them a card. I think celebrating these milestones with members, because we're together, we're getting to know each other, we kind of form our own family. And we would do that for our family members. We would recognize the great things that they're doing. So I think we should do that with our Lions too. Maybe have certificates of appreciation. Something very small, but to recognize that person that, hey, we really appreciate that you always do that. And we may just take it for granted that you always do that job, but hey, we want to recognize you tonight. And I think new members too, because new members are kind of shy and afraid because they're afraid of making a mistake. But if you have a mentor, someone who is going to follow them their first year through Lionism, I think we would mold some really great members. Because I think a lot of it is intimidation. When we join something new, we're kind of, insecure and kind of afraid to step forward. But if you notice somebody who you think will do a great job, just ask them, hey. And if they're afraid, just say, I can help you. Or why don't you follow me in this role? And maybe you can take it on. That way it gives the people who are doing the same job over and over and over again a break so they can recharge their batteries. And it brings an opportunity to have some new ideas brought forward. Because we all come from different backgrounds and different ideas, and something that worked at another club, a new member may bring to our club. So and we have to be open and inviting. Sometimes, it's easy for us to go, oh no, that'll never work, or oh, we've tried that before. If someone has an idea, always acknowledge, thanks for bringing that forward. And leave it on a positive note, because they may never speak again. If they talk and they're being attacked, or they feel like what they said was wrong, or what they said wasn't valuable. So we need to pay close attention to that as well. And I think most of all, that people volunteer the way they can. We can't come on to our members because, they haven't helped out that last 5 events. Maybe there's something going on in their lives. I know for myself, I could never have been a Lion. I had 5 kids and I was working full time. It just was not in my cards. But, maybe I could have and then only did a little bit. So we can encourage membership for people who say, I don't have time. Just do what you can. If you help out at one event, or if you help with some fundraising, or if you bring a new member, just give what you can give, and don't make people feel like, they're not giving enough or feel guilty because they're not helping, because I think that kind of scares people away. And another really great thing I learned was on leadership. Sometimes the loudest people aren't the best leaders, and we kind of have to adapt to each other's personalities. There's going to be conflicts. There's conflicts in any relationship that we have. I think the most important thing, if a conflict arises in our club, is to take care of it right away. We get the executive together, the directors, try to work it out, so that member feels like there's not always a white elephant in the room, right? We gotta get these things taken care of right away. We have to make sure both parties are sitting there present and they each have their side, because we all know how stories change, and if we don't hear from the person, we don't know exactly what we're trying to deal with. We just deal with it as mature adults. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not. People may leave, but as long as we know in our club that we did the best we could to try to accommodate them, that's really all that we can do. Any questions about that portion? I have another portion, but I'm switching it up. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to bring my hearing and preservation hat on now. I don't think I've talked to your club about, I'm working with Listen Up Canada. We're working out an agreement where we're going to start collecting hearing aids in our district. And what our club has done is we have 15 eyeglass boxes in optometrist offices. So now we bought 10 new boxes, and now we're putting them in hearing clinics. So it not only doubles our eyeglass collection boxes, but now we have the ability to collect hearing aids at our eyeglass donation places. Listen Up Canada will collect the hearing aids. We take them to them anywhere in Ontario. And what they'll do is they'll refurbish them, and they'll make sure that people who are in need, who can't afford hearing aids, will get a hearing aid. So I'm really happy for that, because hearing aids are very, very expensive. And a lot of seniors are on fixed budgets, and it's something that's not readily covered by the government, I don't believe. So I think this will be a really good step forward in our Lions. And as well, we have a lot of members in our Lions Club who could benefit from this program as well. If you know anybody who is in need and they can't afford it, they can fill out an application form. It's all based on your yearly income. And then Listen Up Canada will bring it to their board of directors, and if they offer a hearing aid for $3,000, that they will subsidize. And the Lions are going to help with that more. It's still new in our district. I'm still trying to get it out to all the clubs, but I think it's a really good way to get our name out there. Listen Up Canada has our logo on their website, so they're getting our Lions name out there as well. So for your club, I've just brought a little bit of information about the hearing aid collection program. Anybody who's in need of a hearing aid, how you go about it. Now I know for our eyeglass collections, we have a collection agreement. So I've made one up for recycling for hearing. And what I've done is when I've approached the stores that I've wanted to have my boxes, and we just fill out an agreement, and what it simply says is, I'll try to come around usually every 3 months to do a collection, but if your box is full, there's a contact name on the back of the box, give us a call. We'll be there within 2 days to collect the hearing aids or eyeglasses.